This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news, intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversation. 96.9 FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Good morning. PMH launching a probe after mother's death. The hospital brought under scrutiny as a woman alleged she was neglected. A man killed in an alleged accidental shooting. And we kick off Health Week here on Morning Blend. Today we are focusing on cervical cancer, as it is Cervical Cancer Awareness Month. What you need to know. It's all straight ahead this morning. I'm Dwight Strachan, and this is Morning Blend.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that it's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning again, Bahamas. It is Monday, January 23rd, 2023. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Again, I'm Dwight Strachan. In a moment, Pamela Musgrove will be joining us. Also this morning, Health Week continues into Morning Blend business. We're going to be talking about smoking in public places. Is it time for there to be a ban entirely on this here in the Bahamas? And the dangers of secondhand smoke. We can get into all of that and want to get your opinion on it as well coming up. But first, it's time for the overnight, the latest breaking news from while you were sleeping, and the top national and international headlines this morning. In the overnight, just over a week after a 33-year-old woman broadcasted live from her hospital bed on social media in a desperate plea for urgent blood donations while alleging that she had been neglected at Princess Margaret Hospital, she was a dead woman. The story of Kenise Darville, a mother of three, has resonated in many circles prior to and following her death, with many, including her distraught family, demanding answers and appealing for the healthcare system to be fixed. Now, Health and Wellness Minister Dr. Michael Darville has ordered an immediate investigation into her death. In that Facebook Live video on January 11th from an isolation room at PMH's female surgical ward, Darville, while in tears, said she was advised to solicit blood donations. She says she went to the hospital on January 2nd with indescribable pain that was ripping her back apart. Prior to that, she said she had sought care at Doctor's Hospital but could not afford to go back there. After being placed in an isolation room at PMH, she said she was told by doctors on January 3rd that her blood platelet count was 20 and that platelets will be ordered for her Platelets are produced by bone marrow, and their primary purpose is to prevent and stop bleeding. Throughout her live broadcast, Darville wiped away blood from a pimple on her chin she said would not stop bleeding. She said on January 11th, the doctor casually told her that her platelet count was 7 and that she needed blood donations. A platelet count below 10 is considered extremely low and can make a person bleed without any obvious cause. Darville's blood type was O negative, which is the highest demand due to its use in emergencies where blood type is unknown. Darville, who buried her mother on December 30th of last year, so the hospital ought to have handled her case with more urgency, adding that she had a lot of people who were ready to help. Her stories exposed the shortcomings at the public blood bank and raised scrutiny around the quality of health care provided by the country's main public hospital. It also resulted in an outpouring of stories from members of the public about the care they receive at Princess Margaret Hospital. You can read more about that in today's Nassau Guardian. The heartbroken mother of a man who was killed in an alleged accidental shooting over the weekend said he was meant to start a job in Eleuthera on Sunday. Around 5 p.m. on Saturday, police reported that Levardo Fernander was with a group of co-workers at the rear of a residence on Faith Avenue South when the 37-year-old, one of the co-workers, attempted to clear a high-powered air rifle. It was reported that the weapon discharged, hitting the 37-year-old Fernander to the upper body. Paramedics visited the scene and pronounced the father of 5 dead. Police are questioning a 27-year-old man in connection with the incident. Police say a 60-year-old man died suddenly while in custody at the Central Police Station. It happened yesterday. Police say the man was discovered during a routine check of the cell block shortly after 7:30 a.m. He was found unresponsive. EMS responded to the station and found that the man was dead. The coroner is investigating the matter now, adding that an autopsy will be performed to determine the exact cause of death. A cyclist dying after his scooter crashed into a utility pole on Cowpen Road. It happened on Saturday. Police say the man was traveling east on Cowpen Road when he reportedly lost control of the scooter and crashed. The victim, believed to be in his middle to late 30s, died at the scene. It's the 3rd traffic fatality for the year so far. Police appealing to motorists and pedestrians to take special care when traveling. And the Judicial and Legal Service Commission has recommended to the Governor General the appointment of 5 new Supreme Court judges: Gregory Moss, Simone Fitzcharles, Carla Card Stubbs, Franklin Williams, KC, and Cynthia Vera Hope Strawn. Sir Ian Winder, who chairs the commission, saying in a statement in October that the commission conducted an open recruitment exercise seeking to fill the vacancies created by the retirement of Sir Justice Estelle Gray Evans, Justice Ruth Bowe Darville, and former Chief Justice Sir Brian Murray, KC. That exercise also contemplated the expected vacancies which will arise as a result of the pending retirement of Justice G. Diane Stewart and Senior Justice Indra Charles. So you can say that the advertisement process drew considerable interest both locally and abroad. Overseas, Burkina Faso's junta government late Saturday ordered hundreds of French troops to depart the West African country within a month, following in the path of neighboring Mali, whose nation is also headed by a coup leader. The national broadcaster making the announcement, citing the official news agency in Burkina. The news agency said the decision had been made Wednesday to end the presence of France's military in the country. Protesters took to the streets of the capital last week to call for the ouster of the French ambassador and the closure of a French military base north of the capital. About 400 French Special Force soldiers are currently based there. The move by Burkina Faso's regime comes 5 months after France completed its withdrawal from Mali after 9 years fighting Islamic extremists along regional troops. Many of those are now based in Niger and Chad instead. While the number of French troops in Burkina Faso is far smaller than it was in Mali, 400 special forces compared to more than 2,400 soldiers, Saturday's announcement adds to the growing concern that Islamic extremists are capitalizing on the political disarray and using it to expand their reach. Analysts have questioned whether the national militaries of both Burkina Faso and Mali are capable of filling the void. And Poland will ask Germany for permission to send some of the Polish army's Leopard tanks to Ukraine. That's according to the Polish Prime Minister, as he pushes Europe to send more military hardware to Kyiv amid complaints that Germany is being too slow in helping to thwart Russia's invasion. The Prime Minister didn't specify when the request will be made. He said that Poland is building a coalition of nations ready to send Leopard 2 battle tanks to Ukraine. Poland needs the consent of Germany, which builds the tanks, to send them to a non-NATO country. But even if there is no permission from Germany, Warsaw will make its own decisions, according to the Prime Minister. Poland's become a leading advocate in the European Union for giving Ukraine the military aid that would help it prevail over the Kremlin's invading forces 11 months after the war started. Germany's hesitation has drawn criticism, particularly from Poland and the Baltic states, countries on NATO's eastern flank that feel especially threatened by Russia's renewed aggression. In sports, iElite, the International Elite Sports Academy, continues to push some of the finest baseball players in the country, giving them opportunities to sign professional contracts and further their baseball careers. A couple more players from the institution signed over the weekend, bringing the total up to 4 in this international signing period of Major League Baseball, 34 in total since they opened their doors 8 years ago. Chad Delancey signed with the Boston Red Sox at the Thomas A. Robinson National Stadium on Saturday, and Andrew Arthur inked his name with the St. Louis Cardinals at the same venue on Sunday. A couple more signed out of Max D Sports Academy last Tuesday. Get all the details in today's Guardian Sports section. And Bahamian Jonquil J.J. Jones introduced by her new team, the New York Liberty, with the WNBA. This is after Jones requested that trade from the Connecticut Sun. The Liberty is an original team with the WNBA from 1997, but has not won a title despite making 4 trips to the finals. Those 4 trips came in the league's first 6 seasons, and the Liberty haven't been back in the finals since the 2002 season, some 21 years. Find out how Jones hopes to change all of that in today's Guardian Sports section. And from the NFL playoff weekend, Brock Purdy rolling to his left and saw his first few options covered. At second glance, George Kittle broke free, running deep. Purdy throwing across his body and Kittle making a juggling catch that sparked San Francisco's only touchdown drive. That one big play proved to be enough to send the 49ers to their second straight NFC title game, thanks to a suffocating defensive performance. The 49ers getting a 19-12 victory over the Dallas Cowboys. On Sunday, 49ers used back-to-back long scoring drives in the second half to wear down the Cowboys and win their 12th straight game. San Francisco advancing to play the Philadelphia Eagles in the NFC title game next Sunday in Philadelphia after losing in that round to the Rams a year ago. And in the AFC, the Kansas City Chiefs getting good news Sunday, learning that they will host the AFC Championship game against the Cincinnati Bengals instead of playing at a neutral site. Cincinnati is on a 10-game winning streak after an impressive 27-10 road victory over the Buffalo Bills on a snow-covered field in Sunday's NFL divisional round. Joe Burrow throwing for 242 yards and 2 touchdowns, while Joe Mixon ran for 105 yards and a touchdown. So there you have it. Bengals versus Chiefs and 49ers versus Eagles next weekend. That's sports, and that's the overnight. Time for your first look at weather. Your weather for today, we've got high pressure shifting northeast of the area and a cold front that will move into the northern Bahamas by this afternoon or evening, producing some showers and possible thunderstorms across the extreme northwest Bahamas, not really bringing down the temperatures too much. Boaters are advised, though, to exercise caution due to rough seas, and beachgoers should be alert for rip currents. Your forecast for today for the northwest Bahamas, mostly sunny and warm with a gradual increase in clouds and breezy conditions, with scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms this afternoon as that front approaches. Small craft operators should exercise caution due to swells. Wind south to southwest at 10 to 15 knots, shifting to west to northwest at 15 to 20 knots in the afternoon in the extreme northwest Bahamas. Southwest to west at 10 to 15 knots, falling light and variable at times over the remainder of the northwestern islands. Seas 2 to 4 feet, but building to 4 to 6 feet by the afternoon in the extreme northwest Bahamas, 2 to 4 feet in the remainder of the northwestern islands. Seas higher in swells for all areas. For the central and southeast Bahamas today, variably cloudy and a bit breezy with a few isolated showers through tonight. Small craft caution in effect for all areas due to swells. Wind southeasterly at 10 to 15 knots, falling light and variable at times in the central islands, and 15 to 20 knots falling to 10 to 15 knots by this afternoon in the southeastern Bahamas. Seas 2 to 4 feet in the central islands, 4 to 6 feet, diminishing to 2 to 4 feet by the afternoon in the southeastern islands. Seas higher in light swells for all areas. Currently in Nassau, it's about 72 degrees under fair skies. We're looking at highs getting up to around 83 Fahrenheit, 28 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to about 70 Fahrenheit, 21 Celsius. That's your first look at weather this morning. We'll have your extended outlook coming up after traffic in just a bit. It's time for a break, but when we come back, we're discussing the day's top stories right here on Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Your home for fresh news and smart talk all day.
Is your 2023 goal to move into your own home? Well, future homeowner, enjoy another payday. Build or buy a home with financing from CIBC First Caribbean, and you'll receive cash back every month for 1 year. A home is one of your greatest investments, so secure one soon. Visit CIBCFCIB.com/homeowners payday for more info. Offer valid from January 9 through to March 31, 2023. Terms and conditions apply.
At Wendy's, we are different. We don't just use beef. It's fresh, never frozen. Our burgers are square because we never cut corners. Served hot off the grill with fresh lettuce, tomatoes, onions, and American cheese. We believe in fast food done right. Always serving fresh, never frozen beef. Order a hot, juicy Dave single, double, or triple. Made with fresh, never frozen beef. Now only at Wendy's. Different inside and out.
Legacy College Readiness and Tours. Already get the first set of knowledge. Now it's time to prepare you for college. You're thinking so much you gotta do. Legacy will handle that for you.
Hi, my name is Erica Morris, the president of Legacy College Readiness and Tours, a comprehensive college readiness firm. I'm reminded of my senior year in high school, the trepidation and insecurity I felt the closer my school years were coming to an end. I was afraid and unsure of what steps to take next. I needed a me, someone knowledgeable about the college and career selection process. And I know finding the best college fit can be a daunting and stressful task. And I'm here to eliminate that stress by providing a guided tour into you choosing the right college for you. For more information on how Legacy College Readiness and Tours can assist you, contact us at 242-809-52 888-878-7878 or email us at legacycollegetours@gmail.com.
Ready to step into the future? From your front door to the backyard and everywhere in between. See and speak to whoever's there with Ring Video doorbells and security cameras now available at Alive. Protect what matters most, all from one easy app, available in your Google or Apple Play Store. Visit bealive.com/ring to learn more. We are Alive.
With so much going on in the world today, only accepting cash at your business can be risky. Let Fidelity offer you and your customers safety, convenience, and the flexibility of a fixed or mobile terminal. Take it with you, on the move and on the go, because business should never stop. For more details, speak to one of our business development officers at 356-7764 in Nassau or 352-6676 in Freeport. Visit our website at fidelitygroup.com or visit us at any of our branches. Fidelity, we're good for you.
Good morning, everyone. Hello? Hello? Oh, sorry, I was on mute. Okay, I see we have just about everyone, and of course Tom drops off, as per usual. Let's just wait a minute here. He always comes right back, and we're almost ready, and... oh, whoever's dog that is, please go on mute. Why won't it let me share my screen? Okay, looks like we're ready to start.
We're like a video conference with no technical issues. CG Atlantic, agents and brokers. Good like that.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that it's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for your smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at Morning Blend 969 or Facebook.com/Morning Blend 969. Text us on the Guardian Radio text line powered by BTC 422-4796. Standard text rate supply. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan. In a moment, Pamela Musgrove will be joining us. Coming up this morning, as you said, we're kicking off Health Week all week long on the show. We're going to be talking about health issues, men's health, women's health, children's health, mental health, all of it. A specific issue each day. Today we've got two of them, actually. We're going to be looking at cervical cancer. It is Cervical Cancer Awareness Month, and we're going to be talking about that and some special events that are happening to promote cervical cancer awareness. Later in Morning Blend Business, I told you about this a few weeks ago. I'm trying to launch a campaign to end smoking in public places. Government buildings, you're not allowed to do that, but everywhere else, seems like there's a free-for-all out there. And is it time for this to end? I know what the answer is, but what do you say? Let's talk about it and some of the dangers of secondhand smoke. And people are working in these environments, what they're going through all day long, inhaling that stuff. And we're going to get into all that coming up in business this morning. So Health Week kicks off today. But let's begin with what else is in the news. And in the news, the state of the healthcare system in the Bahamas. is the big story, and this coming after a disturbing video last week that has since resulted in the death. Well, the person in the video has since died, and now there's an investigation into her death, a probe at the Princess Margaret Hospital. Our Jared Higgs writing about it in today's Nassau Guardian that just over a week after a 33-year-old woman broadcasted live from her hospital bed on social media in a desperate plea for urgent blood donations while alleging that she had been neglected at Princess Margaret Hospital, she was dead. And that story, the story of Kenise Darville, a mother of three, has resonated in many circles prior to and following her death, with many, including her distraught family, demanding answers and appealing for the healthcare system to be fixed. And now Health and Wellness Minister Dr. Michael Darville has ordered an immediate investigation into her death. You might have seen the video. It was a Facebook Live video on January 11th from an isolation room at PMH's female surgical ward. Kenise Darville, while in tears, said she was advised to solicit blood donations. And she said she went to the hospital on January 2nd in indescribable pain that was ripping her back apart. And she was in there, told about her platelet count being extremely low and a dangerous level, urging for blood donations. Now, Darville's blood type was O negative, which is in the highest demand due to its use in emergencies where blood type is unknown. Darville, who buried her mother on December 30th last year, said the hospital ought to have handled her case with more urgency, adding that she had a lot of people who were ready to help. A nurse eventually appeared in the doorway of her room and tried to calm Darville down, and she spoke on Facebook Live. And she said, this is during the live, quote, "At this point, some people just have to go down for a cause, and this is a cause I'm ready to go down for. I got 3 young children. I have a husband and a family that cares for me, and you all just be around here joking because you all just look at everybody in here as a number in a bed. You all had all 3 days to tell me if you could get some people to come up here to give your blood. Now I'm just sending out a flyer today asking people to come and donate blood for me because now my platelet count is 7 and they didn't see the urgency in that." Well, that video went viral. As of Sunday, it had been shared nearly 5,000 times on Facebook. The story has exposed shortcomings at the public blood bank and raised scrutiny around the quality of health care provided by the country's main hospital, PMH. It also resulted in an outpouring of stories from members of the public about the care they've received at PMH all weekend long, people telling horror stories. The health minister offered condolences to the family. Dr. Darville said, quote, "I was familiar with the case. I've seen the posting on social media and instructed the Princess Margaret Hospital and Public Hospitals Authority to do an immediate investigation into the allegations." There was also a press conference on Friday where Kenise Darville's relatives gave a heart-wrenching address. Her husband, Gerard Darville, while crying, he said, quote, "You should never have to be dying and trying to find blood. On her dying bed, you ask her to find blood? Where was she to go? Oh, my Lord, be fair. Where was she to go for help?" The husband told the Nassau Guardian that he hasn't officially been notified of when his wife died. He said he was called by a nurse on January 19th at 7:30 a.m. to tell him to come and collect her things. Oh, my goodness gracious. The grieving husband thanked members of the public who donated blood in support of his wife. But he also said the blood bank is still desperate for blood. He said, quote, "How desperate? Desperate enough to tell a dying person that they need to find blood in order to stay alive. That's how desperate they is for blood. That's how you want your life to end? All this good life you built up with memories and dreams and people, relationships, aspirations, it must end because you don't have the ability to get people to give blood?" Wow, okay. Boy, Pamela Musgrove is joining us now.
Good morning, Dwight. Good morning, Bahamas.
Pam, good morning. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I watched the entire video after I heard the report that a lady who had been live broadcasting on Facebook died a week later. And it was heart-wrenching and troubling. And we have heard these complaints over and over and over, and they appear to fall on deaf ears. You know, I think this culture that we have, where when something happens, we quickly jump and say, we didn't do anything wrong. Everything was going right. I think what happens with that is we don't allow ourselves to be better. Because if you're doing something and it is wrong, it is not the best way to do it, but you don't look and review your processes to try to become better, then we will continue to have these issues.
Yeah.
You know, I heard that the hospital is saying that they're going to have an investigation, but we know about investigations. They announce it, and not necessarily the hospital alone, but we know what happened in government. You announce an investigation, and nothing ever comes out of it. And the sad thing is, I don't think anything even comes out of it behind the scenes because the problems continue to happen. I think a lot of this is lack of training. There's a lot of, yes, the blood bank needs blood, and you see advertisement from time to time, but a lot of this is training on how you deal with people. They're in the hospital, and I think she said something that resonates. We lack empathy. There's a lack of empathy. You are in the hospital, and you are sick. So if you are complaining about pain, why are you telling a patient to stop complaining because it's not that bad?
Yeah.
She was dying. And it appears as if they trivialized it. There's a lack of empathy, and I think the lack of training to help hospital workers to know how to deal with patients. You need a special skill, you know. That's not just, this is a low minimum job and I'm working hard and I have my family to go to. That's a special skill and a special calling that you need to do that job well.
Yeah. Well, something is wrong with that place. We can't deny it. I've had the experience of dealing with family members who were there and then dealing with the same medical professionals in a private setting. And it's like these people have multiple personalities, Pam. I cannot pretend. We have to be honest. When you're paying, they'll look you in the eye. But when you're not, or when they think you're not, because you're at the public hospital, the way that you're treated is entirely different. And this is one of the major flaws with PMH.
It's almost like you're looked down because you are at PMH.
Yes.
And I don't understand that, because if you look at let's look at healthcare from the UK system. The general taxes pay for their healthcare system.
Yeah.
Their general taxes.
I don't want to say it's everybody, right? But for a lot of people, I've experienced this with a few people.
The problem is there's so many negative cases that they outweigh the good.
Absolutely.
And that's why overall they have a bad reputation.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we like to run is more money. Man, that's training. And people lack training. Like how you as a doctor can tell a patient that they need to go and find people to donate blood for them. That's the lack of training.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's get your reaction to it, folks. And again, this is not a new situation. We have this happens every day, right? There's a story like this. People, since this happened over the weekend, nonstop, people with their stories, their
even before that, people have even went to the press. It's just nothing ever happens. We're investigating, and it just dies off.
Yeah.
And obviously they're not getting better.
No. What are we going to do? 323-6232. 325-4316. 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us. 422-4796.
I don't think your survival should depend on whether or not you have money. I don't think it should. I think if you're in that field, you should give quality service, whether it's private or public. You should give quality service. So if you are a doctor and you have a private practice and a public practice, you should give the same level of service for both. And I think I heard this from someone in the healthcare system. And I thought it was troubling as it relates to the national health insurance, because I think we have over like 150,000 people that have signed up. And what they were saying, I stand to be corrected, but this is someone in the healthcare sector that deals with this. They're saying once you sign up with a doctor, you don't need to see that doctor, but that doctor is being paid. Like if I sign up under a particular doctor, but I never saw that doctor for the year, the doctor's being paid. And this particular person signed up, and it's like they went to see the doctor, they got there, and it was like, the doctor isn't here. Sorry, you have to reschedule. And then they did it another time.
They were scheduled to meet with the doctor?
They made their appointment, and they have a doctor through the national health system, and they went to see the doctor, and the doctor isn't here. And they went back again, and they weren't there again. And so I told the person, given the fact that they're being paid, they need to change over from the doctor, because if this doctor doesn't see you, they're going to still be paid for the service. I think that is broken. That's broken on top of a broken system. There should be some proof.
Well, I hope that person's seeing another doctor now, but also reported what's going on with that previous doctor.
I don't know if reporting things around in some cases would make a difference, but I just think there needs, if we are saying that we are setting up this policy to help persons and to help the country be a healthier country, then there needs to be some proof that persons are seeing the doctor before the doctors are paid, because to me that's a recipe for disaster. You're just collecting money.
Yeah. Wow. Boy, oh boy.
And while there may be some doctors who don't operate like that, then there are a few who would just collect the money and not care about the health of the patient.
Let's hear what our callers have to say. Good morning. You're on the air.
Yeah, good morning, Dwight.
Hi.
Yeah, morning. Yeah, I had some incidents at the hospital too, but my recommendation and what I observed was that protocols, in some cases, especially with the younger doctors, are not being carried out. My recommendation to them was you need to have some senior doctors on in that same area, because the younger doctors are not following, not all of them, but in my experience, did not follow protocol. And I had to fight like tooth and nail, all right, to deal with one of my siblings to bring them back to the hospital. And then I had to row again. So they need to be serious. If you want to be a doctor, then please be a doctor and be thorough. Now, in our country, we have many persons, defense force, immigration, they just on the job because for the money. They're not dedicated, and I've seen it all over this country. And my thing is, if you really truly want to be a doctor or a lawyer or whatever, then you do it. If you can't, if you do it for the salary, then you're not qualified. That's our problem. And if this continues, then we're going to have to bring in foreign doctors who are serious about going through. It's a protocol problem. Just like when a doctor cancels somebody's appointment. A lady the other day came from the island, come to find out that her appointment was canceled. You don't think someone should have called her, right, in advance, at least a day in advance, and, Madam, no need to make that trip? The administration, and listen to me today, you all need to deal with these doctors who are canceling these appointments, and if they have private practice, then that has to cease also. If they can't provide the service, and they can't serve two masters, then we have to make a change. We're losing lives unnecessarily. And so you all have a wonderful day.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Yeah. I really hope your friend does something. I mean, and then maybe we need
I recommended that they change. I recommended
definitely need to, but they need to say out publicly expose the doctor who's been canceling.
Well, I don't know if they're going to publicly probably I don't know if the system allowed them to give comments as to why they're changing.
Well, at least call National Health Insurance.
Can you reach anybody in these spaces, Dwight? It's difficult. Let's be real about the situation. It's very difficult. You know, I have had occasions to deal with the public service. It's very difficult, Dwight. you got to push and push. And that's why we have this culture of knowing somebody. Is like if you don't know somebody in a department, like nobody cares about you. I've known of persons who worked at the hospital.
Yeah.
And they had a family member that was sick. And they would call that person to say, could you please check on the family member? Because everybody knows what goes on up there for the most part. Like I said, everybody is not in that category, but there's so many negative that it outweighs the positive.
You better know somebody. That is the truth. That is the truth. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yes, good morning, Dwight.
Hi.
Good morning, Palm.
Good morning.
You know, Palm, I wish I could say something that against what you and Dwight are saying, right? But unfortunately, I can't, right? But, Mr. Strachan, you would be frightened to hear some of my personal human stories, right? Given that I have a little medical knowledge, right? I'm telling you, I was sent to him still bleeding post-surgery, right? And like, you know, like it would have been like, it's a problem where a lot of blood vessels are, right? And so if I didn't have a little knowledge, you know, the thing is, there's always, I don't know if you ever look at your blood works on the paper. You see that there'll be something that says clotting time, right? You ever notice that?
Not really.
No. Yeah, it will be the amount of time your blood takes to clot. Well, I'm very sorry. My heart goes out to the guy, Gerard, and his wife. I heard she died, right? But I had heard Harvard talking about it, but I didn't get this. I didn't really know what it was until some people had sent it to my phone and they asked if I'd seen it. And so he said, one of my friends told me his eyes run water, and he's a cold person. And so, of course, the protocol is right, Palm. But the thing is, I've seen the attitude to what, you know, firstly, I really, some of the nurses really work hard, and I can call their names, and some of them are very, very caring. But then again, you have, I don't know if it's the Negro psyche, but there's something in us that we ourselves, even the human race, is being engineered to be without empathy. Like that's the type of robotic state they want. And so when you see, I saw some of the attitudes of one of the senior nurses one night. I was actually bleeding from a surgery, but I had to come back to A&E, and I had to rush to the bathroom because of the incontinence, right? And you should see even how the cleaner looked at me, and what, you know, they just didn't understand. It seems to me as if these people really don't understand what you're going through, or it's just a lack of care. But if I understand, then they should understand.
Lack of empathy.
And then what has happened is you have the Minister of Health. You're not hearing a statement from him, but they're willing to funnel money to doctors' hospitals, but the healthcare infrastructure is not being improved. Like I said, there's a lot of simple things that they can implement to safeguard the human lives, but I don't know if, like Palm said, maybe they think everybody comes there is getting things free, but then don't forget the new health insurance hookup, and then also some people pay. You know, you pay for your bed.
People do pay.
You pay.
Right.
You pay for your blood test. I mean, you know, but I don't know where this attitude comes. It stinks, right?
I mean, I think I get it, all right? I mean, because you can't get emotional with everybody. You can't allow yourself to get attached to people. I think that's what this is, a defense mechanism.
But Dwight, I mean, hello?
Yeah, we're listening.
But Dwight, Dwight, you think it's that? But what I'm saying is that when you go through the triage, right, Palm? The reason for the triage is to prioritize the urgency. So someone shouldn't just, you know, I've had a doctor, an experienced doctor, he was from the East. He had inserted my catheter. And Dr. Stevens, Dr. Pinto, and Dr. Roberts, they were inserted. I had to get the catheter changed every 6 weeks, but it should have been maybe more, maybe less, maybe like every 4 weeks, 5 weeks. But I wouldn't know, but I would always keep it clean. So this is something that I was used to. This is very painful for young people and stuff like that, but I was used to it. But the thing is, he had inserted the catheter one night. I came to get it changed to A&E, but he had put it in incorrectly. And the reason how I know it was being put in incorrectly, because I was wearing it for about almost a year. So my body's smarter than all of them put together. So I knew it was in incorrectly, and I told him that. And I ended up in an argument, and I told him I'm not going anywhere until they take it out, because I knew that it was incorrect. I wouldn't go through all the ghosts, you know. But what I'm saying is, right, it's another incident when I was actually on the ward. I almost had to walk off of the ward in order to get medical attention, because I had a nurse who was in charge of the ward who seems to be a Hitler-type person. She would turn up the TV at a certain time and tell you this and tell you that. I don't know. I say, if you don't like men, you shouldn't be on the ward. You know, this lady told me I'm looking for attention. I should take 2 Panadol and go to sleep. That time, my catheter is blocked because of blood clots, and I see in 200 milliliters for hours, and I drink a lot of water. That means my bladder could have burst right on the ward. I couldn't sleep. A nurse passed from another ward, see me in pain and making noise and carrying on in a frenzy, And she tell me if I walk downstairs and go to A&E, don't come back on the ward. These are the type of attitude some of these people have.
As a healthcare worker, you should never.
Don't care. But see what I said, Dwight? If you don't bring up the human stories, then it wouldn't be no urgency to fix this mess in the mess. A horse don't even go to the hospital. Bless them.
As a healthcare worker, you should never talk to a patient like that. Even if you're feeling it. If you're feeling it, you keep it to yourself and you put on that face of empathy and says, okay, I understand. We're going to try to get you some help as soon as possible. But to talk, and I've had experience with it when I went to visit, and this was the private ward where you had like an attitude, it's a really bad attitude. And sometimes, I'm a type of person like I would, respond back. And I was told by the person that I went to visit, don't say it, Pam, don't say it, don't say it. They may treat me worse here, but it's a really a bad attitude. You should never, and that's why I say training needs to come in. As a healthcare worker, you should never tell a patient that.
Yeah, that's very disturbing. Wow. We've got a lot of text messages coming in and a lot of calls. Let's take these. Good morning.
Hello. Morning, Dwight.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning, Pamela.
Good morning.
Well, I am an active patient at PMH. And if I start to tell you all some of my horror stories, you all need 2 or 3 shows. But I ain't gonna really go into all of that.
You're a dialysis patient, right?
Yes, you know my voice.
I remember.
Listen, but the thing about it is, Dwight, when patients like myself have had evidence, copies, voice recordings of the doctors and some of the nurses doing what they do to patients, and we try to get to, I can use your station, Guardian or Tribune or something like that to get this out. It seems like a massive cover-up. They shove the patient in the corner and say, well, you better hurry up, die. And in most cases, when the patient gets the information out, like the young lady, God rest her soul, and I have my deepest sympathy to the family, it seems mysteriously that patient is silent. But I ain't going to go into all of that. Let me tell you the fallacy about what they told that lady. See, anybody with half a brain will realize that when they ask you for people to donate blood, 10, normally 9.5 out of 10 of those persons that donate blood for you ain't your blood type.
Yeah.
You see? So even if they tell you, Dwight, we need you to let people come in to donate blood, more than likely in your blood type know-how. Right. But they will give you the blood once you do that. And that is the mistake that they are making. They telling patients, we ain't got no blood. Bring in people, and the people you bring in, if you really check, their blood don't match yours know-how. But they somehow find the blood to give you when you do that. And that's as far as I can go this morning and say, because there's a lot of things I could really say about that place. Thanks.
Interesting point. But they still need the blood, though. Yes, but
I think
that's
it's
a challenge.
encouraging persons to bring in blood, not necessarily for the persons that bring in blood for you to get their blood.
Yeah, and certain people can use different types of blood. Not everybody has to have, right? There are many universal donors out there. But that's another thing, knowing your blood type. I mean, how many people do?
That's
do you know yours?
I think I do.
You think you do, right? And I had to pay extra to get the lab to do my blood type because that's not right. But everybody should know this.
Yeah, no, I think I've been told it before. Yeah.
Yeah. But if I asked you right now, put you on the spot.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, you are. Which one? Oh, what?
Oh, negative.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, I'm A positive. But, that should be common knowledge. Everybody should know that. Learn that early so that you can be very specific with it. But that is...
I mean, it's amazing that, like for persons who get their blood work done on an annual basis, like I don't look at that. I was told it one time before.
You got to pay extra for that.
Yeah.
Right?
Really?
It's not done with your regular blood work.
Yeah.
And they have to draw an extra vial for that. Yeah. Money. And as you said, right, something as important as that, you got to have extra money for that.
Yeah. I only know because I went to donate blood several years ago. And I was told what it was.
Yeah. Let's take this call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Morning, Dwight. How you doing?
Doing well.
Good morning.
Wonderful. I just thought I'd share a story with you guys. Early part of this month, I was in a store. And there were these two people standing behind me talking. It was this gentleman and this lady was talking, and the guy was talking. I could tell that he was a doctor returning home to do his intern. Mm-hmm. And the lady, they was talking about his different experiences thus far at the hospital. But one of the things that she asked him that astonished me, she said, so what area do you want to work in? And he replied to her, he said, child, hard working is my thing. They can put me anywhere as long as I don't have to work nights and long weekends. And I looked at him and I was like, this is supposed to be a doctor in our hospital? They got to be joking. But this is the kind of attitude that we have in the hospital with persons working there. They want a job. It's not a calling for them. They just want a job. They want to make a few dollars and move on to the next stop. And this is the problem we have.
But that won't be everybody. That'll be some people, of course, but it won't be everybody. You think that's the majority of the people?
Dwight, if you listen, first and foremost, I know Kenny's. I know the whole family, and it's really sad what happened to her, right? But if you've listened to the many horror stories just this weekend alone, and stories that I've heard in the past, and even I had an experience with a friend of mine that was she went to the hospital, and she was having chest pains. And what they did with her was they checked her, and then they left her in the aisle. I mean, literally in the aisle, with all kind of patients. And what was so disturbing was this was a woman. She's laying down on the gurney with like a sheet thrown over her. She had on no bra underneath it, and she's in the middle of the aisle with all of these men, around her in beds. I'm coughing and stuff like that. And I'm like, what the devil? This a woman? Come on, man. And she was there for hours. And at the end of the day, you know what they did? They wrote her up and sent her home. To this day, she don't know what the results or what's going on with her that particular morning. And this is the kind of attitude that you have at the hospital.
My goodness.
A&E is the worst place to go if you're in pain.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Wow.
Thank you too.
All right. Want to read?
I don't think it's it's not everybody. Everybody don't fall in this category. But training curbs attitude and negative culture, and that's what's lacking. What appears to be lacking.
Yeah. I want to read this as we go to the break. This person says here, asking a patient to ask friends and family to donate blood has nothing to do with training. It's standard protocol. The hospital has a limited supply of blood products, among many other things. Donors donate to the pool to replenish the supply, and the blood does not necessarily go to the same patient. This will never change. The majority of our blood products are used for trauma, like stabbings, gunshots, motor vehicle accidents. We depend heavily on donors, and they simply are not enough. But on another note, PMH employees do need training department by department, and it needs to happen annually. Staff are frustrated by the lack of resources, deteriorating infrastructure, and overcrowding. This is fueled by a culture that lacks accountability and where there is no fear of termination. The CEO can't change it, the minister can't change it, and successive prime ministers are unwilling to change it. It's not all bad, but we save lives every day, but we certainly can do a lot better.
Yeah, but asking a patient for blood doesn't mean that if that patient can't find anybody that they wouldn't receive the blood that they need if the blood is in the blood bank. So you can ask. You're just asking because you want them to reach out to their loved ones to help replenish the blood bank. But you're not asking them to say, well, if no one sends in blood for you, you can't get blood. That's not the issue. But to say it to her like that, after she was told that they were ordering it, and to come in and, like she said, in a nonchalant way and say, you need to tell your people bring you blood because there's nothing inside there. In order, making it seem is that if they don't bring in the blood, she doesn't get it.
Yeah.
And that's where training is. You need to learn how to talk as a healthcare professional, how to communicate with your patients.
Yeah. Boy, oh boy. All right, we need to take a break. When we come back, we've got a whole lot of your text messages. We'll see if we can get through those, and we'll get to the rest of your calls as well. This is Morning Blend on a Monday morning here on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay with us.
Heaven help the child who never had a home. Heaven help the girl who walks the streets alone. Heaven help the roses if the bombs begin to fall. Heaven help us all. Heaven help the black man.
This is Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
Got your first good traffic for this morning, brought to you by RBC. RBC's mortgage specialist can provide helpful solutions to make your dream home a reality. In your real-time traffic this morning, Milo Butler Highway, as usual, a heavy traffic spot this morning. Traffic well south of the Fire Trail roadway up to the Tawny Williams-Darling Highway roundabout. That's the northbound lanes there. And as a result, traffic is backed up along the Fire Trail, both directions, east and westbound to that roundabout. So, your alternate routes are also looking busy. Glaston Road from Fire Trail straight up to the JFK Drive roundabout in the northbound lanes there. You'll see that heavy traffic. And we're seeing congestion building traffic westbound on Carmichael to Coral Harbor Road near the junction with Faith Avenue and Milo Butler Highway, and eastbound to Blue Hill Road. Blue Hill Road also busy for you from St. Vincent straight up to Soldier Road, and again north of Soldier Road on the way to Independence Drive. Independence Drive seems to be backed up between the roundabouts at Blue Hill Road and East Street, so westbound looking very, very congested for you. You might want to try Robinson Road, or if you can get down to Soldier Road, that might help you. And East Street also busy for you near Soldier and on the way through to that roundabout with Independence Drive and East West Highway. Eastern New Providence looking busy for you as well. Prince Charles Drive near Elizabeth Estates and near the Fox Hill intersection, but especially on the way to Beatrice Avenue and onto Soldier Road. And Prince Charles becoming Robinson Road busy for you there as well, all the way through to Old Trail. Bernard Road westbound also heavy traffic, and Eastern Road from well east of Fox Hill almost to San Susie straight up to Johnson Road in the westbound lane. You'll see that there. Marathon Road northbound looking busy for you at this hour as well. That's your first look at traffic for this morning. We'll have another update for you after the 8 o'clock news. Morning Blend Traffic brought to you by RBC. Visit rbc.com/take 60 seconds to connect with an RBC mortgage specialist. And time for another check of your weather for this morning, brought to you by the Chickcharney Challenge. We've got high pressure shifting northeast of the area, and a cold front is going to move into the northern Bahamas by this afternoon or evening, producing showers and possible thunderstorms across the extreme northwest Bahamas. Boaters advised to exercise caution due to rough seas, and beachgoers should be alert for rip currents. For today, for the northwest Bahamas, expect mostly sunny and warm conditions with a gradual increase in clouds and breezy conditions, with scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms this afternoon as the front approaches. For the central and southeast Bahamas, variably cloudy, a bit breezy, with isolated showers through tonight. Temperatures getting up to around 83 Fahrenheit, 28 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to about 70 Fahrenheit, 21 Celsius. In your extended outlook, the frontal boundary is expected to continue moving through the northwest Bahamas and then into the central Bahamas. It will stall and shift east of the islands while high pressure builds behind the front, generating breezy conditions through Wednesday. So for tomorrow, Tuesday, variably cloudy and breezy with a chance of isolated passing showers. Wednesday, partly sunny and breezy with a chance of passing showers, becoming fair and cool at night. That's your morning blend weather check, brought to you by the Chickcharney Challenge. It's time again to claw through mud, wade through water, climb a rope, and vault the 9-foot wall in the Chickcharney Challenge this Saturday, January 28th at the Clifton Heritage Park. Sign up today at chickcharneychirin.com.
Whether you're looking for your first or new home or even using your existing home as equity, RBC understands that your journey to home ownership is unique and your mortgage financing should reflect that. That is why at RBC we have dedicated mortgage specialists that provide sound advice and helpful solutions to make your dream home a reality. Best of all, the RBC mortgage team is mobile, flexible, and will meet you almost anywhere. Visit rbc.com/take 60 seconds to connect with an RBC mortgage specialist.
Florida Auto Parts can deliver all the auto parts your car will ever need, direct from the USA and from around the world. Florida Auto Parts provides fast delivery on auto parts, and we ship throughout the Bahamas, genuine or aftermarket or used, and all for the best price. Call Florida Auto Parts Trusted Parts Rep on WhatsApp at 1-786-772-8777 to save on your next auto parts purchase. Florida Auto Parts, the right parts at the right price.
We're good for you. Whether your business is in store, on the go, or both, let Fidelity work with you to maximize your customers' payment options with a fixed or mobile terminal so that you never miss a sale. It's safer than cash and more convenient so that you can take your business anywhere. For details, contact a business development officer today at 356-7764 in Nassau or 352-6676 in Freeport, or visit our website at fidelitygroup.com.
Technology serves to make our lives better, so why not your business too? At Custom Computers, we've been maintaining our knowledge and relationships with top tech companies since 1987 and carry only the most trusted brands like Apple, Microsoft, HP, and more. No company has helped more businesses build reliable IT systems than Custom Computers. You name it, we've done it. Call 396-1101 to talk to any of our business experts. Find trust in your tech. Count on Custom Computers.
Ready to save? You can put $100 into the CFAL Savings Express Plan and make sure your money keeps growing. Earn interest on your savings while you're sleeping, eating, or standing in line at the bank. Ready to invest? Start by putting $1,000 into our mutual funds and earn interest there too. Because at CFAL, your interest is our interest. Visit CFAL.com to start now. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations of Bahamians.
Is your 2023 goal to move into your own home? Well, future homeowner, enjoy another payday. Build or buy a home with financing from CIBC First Caribbean, and you'll receive cash back every month for 1 year. A home is one of your greatest investments. Secure one soon. Visit CIBCFCIB.com/homeowners payday for more info. Offer valid from January 9 through to March 31, 2023. Terms and conditions apply.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Wake up, it's a new day.
We are back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Pamela Musgrove. Coming up in a few minutes, as you said, it's a coincidence, but we're kicking off Health Week this week, and we're going to be talking about cervical cancer. That's coming up. We're going to do that in just a couple of minutes, but we're going to break for news in a second. Just want to read a few of your text messages. Getting a lot of messages here. Yeah, I'm going to read this. Yeah, this is from a doctor. I won't have to call the doctor's name. But anyway, the patient did not die for lack of blood. She had multiple transfusions during her hospital stay. She died from the inability to receive the appropriate treatment in a timely manner. This was the result of systemic challenges in the PMH system and limited resources. The hospital is underfunded, overutilized, and mismanaged. It's unfortunate that it had to manifest this way. Wow. And I'm getting another text. We had a Canadian patient a few weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, that had to be airlifted to the U.S. because we were unable to source blood. Fortunately, he had the funds to leave. For public patients, this is rarely an option. That's just showing you how serious the situation is, folks. Boy. Let's get to some of your messages. There's a lot here. Won't be able to get to all of these. Maybe I can do it a little bit later in the show, so stick around for that. But this person says here, everyone who worked while she was in the hospital needs to be fired. Really? Her family needs to not only sue the system, but file charges against all of them who worked during her time. This needs to stop. Well, I think it's a little extreme, but I understand your frustration. I understand it. This person says here, I've never understood how the hospital is always short on blood. Really? Have you donated blood? Texter? Why don't they go out and do more blood drives? Go and try to collect. More people may donate if there's an easier way and different places to go.
Sometimes some people aren't healthy enough
Yes,
to.
a lot of people cannot give blood for various reasons, and others they refuse to take blood from. So
If you're anemic, you can't give blood.
There's
If
a
you
lot of
have-
things out
yeah.
there. It's not that simple, and maybe we need to do a lot more education on that. Let's break for the news. We'll be back. This is Morning Blend.
It's Monday, January 23rd, 2023, and you're listening to The Guardian News.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas, Channel 969, and BTC Flow, Channel 612. You can tweet us at Morning Blend 969 or Facebook.com/Morning Blend 969. Text us 422-4796. Standard text rate supply. And now at 8:19, time for another check of your weather for today, brought to you by Bahamas First Insurance. You've got high pressure shifting northeast of the area, and a cold front's going to move into the northern Bahamas this afternoon or this evening, and that's going to produce some showers and possible thunderstorms across the extreme northwest Bahamas. For the northwest Bahamas today, look for mostly sunny and warm conditions with a gradual increase in clouds and breezy conditions with scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms this afternoon as the front approaches. Small craft operators should exercise caution due to swells and likely rough seas. Beachgoers should be alert for rip currents as well. For the central and southeast Bahamas, variably cloudy and a bit breezy with a few isolated showers through tonight. Small craft caution in effect for all areas due to swells. Temperatures today getting up to around 83 Fahrenheit, 28 Celsius, getting down to about 70 Fahrenheit, 21 Celsius. In your extended outlook, the frontal boundary is expected to continue moving through the northwest Bahamas, then into the central islands. It will stall and shift east of the area, while high pressure will build behind the front, generating breezy conditions through Wednesday. So, for tomorrow, Tuesday, variably cloudy and breezy with a chance of isolated passing showers. Wednesday, partly sunny and breezy with a slight chance of a passing shower, becoming fair and cool at night. That's your Morning Blend weather check, brought to you by Bahamas First Insurance. Visit firstonlineinsurance.com and select a Bahamas First agent to purchase, pay, or renew your car or home insurance 100% online, or just stop by any Bahamas First agent. Bahamas First, celebrating 40 years as the first Bahamian general insurance company. What's first for you comes first for us. And 8:22, time for another check of traffic for this morning, brought to you by RBC. RBC's mortgage specialists can provide helpful solutions to make your dream home a reality. We've got a number of issues in your real-time traffic this morning, a number of hot spots. It's going to be a challenging commute for many of you today. Heavy traffic on Milo Butler Highway from well south of Fire Trail. In fact, it's just north of Carmichael that you're going to be seeing this. If you're on Milo Butler Highway this morning, all the way up to Tawny Bloom's Darling Highway, And traffic is backed up along Fire Trail, both directions, east and westbound to that roundabout at this hour. Gladstone Road is going to be busy for you as well, just north of Fire Trail in the northbound lanes. And Blue Hill Road is congested in a number of spots, especially if you're coming off Cowpen Road and South Beach Boulevard. So that's eastbound and northbound there. And as you get closer to St. Vincent Road, north of St. Vincent, straight through to Carmichael, and north of Soldier Road on the way to Independence Drive, which is back to both directions, east and westbound this morning. Carmichael bound on your way to Coral Harbor Road and eastbound to Blue Hill Road. Then we've got East Street, also heavy traffic near the intersection with Soldier, but north of that intersection, straight through to the roundabout with East-West Highway and Independence Drive. In eastern New Providence, we've got Eastern Road, heavy traffic just east of Fox Hill, and Prince Charles Drive, especially as you approach Beatrice Avenue, and Soldier Road on your way through to Robinson Road. Soldier busy for you northbound, heading toward Bernard Wolf and Village. Back west, we've got West Bay Street near Saunders Beach and the roundabout with New Providence Highway, heavy traffic eastbound, and at the six-legged roundabout, multiple directions, you're going to be seeing heavy traffic northbound on Milo Butler Highway, southbound New Providence Highway, and eastbound on JFK Drive. Those are your hot spots this morning. That's your real-time traffic and your morning blend traffic alert brought to you by RBC. Visit rbc.com/take 60 seconds to connect with an RBC mortgage specialist. Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Pamela Musgrove. Hey, we're kicking off Health Week on the show this morning. All week long, we're going to be talking about medical issues. And it just so happens the timing is quite something, that we've been dealing with a lot of medical issues so far. I just want to read this text before we get to our guest. And this, by the way, we've been reading messages from doctors.
Most of the text messages are coming from doctors who are sending it
quite
in.
an enlightening experience for us here.
We're just going to preface that before we read that.
So now, of course, the callers, I don't know who they are, but we've been reading messages from doctors who work in the system. But this person sent this message to our colleague Chester Robart saying, tell Dwight and Pam to stop feeding into sensationalism and get a panel of experts on this show to educate the public rather than these idiots calling in speculating. Idiots who've experienced it firsthand.
See, that's the problem with our country right
now. Well, bring the panel. Will we invite the panel to come? Will they come? Will they come?
No, but it's not even about a panel.
What will that do?
That's a form to deflect. and not to have the conversations. Every time something happens and you try to have the conversation, don't talk about it.
Apparently that was said by a doctor as well.
Exactly, deflect.
Yeah.
Right? And that's the problem I mentioned earlier. When you don't think there's a problem and you continue to say there's no problem, then you are not eager to find a solution to what's going on. It's a form to deflect. Most of the text messages that have been coming in have been coming in from
They
personal
send it
cell
to
phones,
us
not the
directly,
text line.
not to the text line, so we know who they are.
Right?
And they've been enlightening us.
And
as
all
said.
we are saying, and besides that, the experts can comment.
No one's talking.
Have we heard anything official from the hospital authority?
And you never will.
Or Princess Margaret Hospital, except that we're having an investigation. And if things go the way they usually go, we will never hear anything from that, the results of that investigation.
To the doctor who sent that, we invite you to come on a panel to talk about it whenever you're ready. Ready? You're going to come this week? I doubt it. But yeah, let's have you come on, please.
But nothing is stopping them from coming out and talking about what has happened and what is being done to correct the issues at the hospital.
All right. Changing gears, and now I apologize to our guest, who is a doctor this morning, to welcome you into this hornet's nest here. But we are going to change gears. As we said, it's Health Week, and this morning we are talking about cervical cancer. It is one of the unnecessary cancer killers. But I'm sure Dr. Nina Graham, an OBGYN, will explain that in a much better way than I can. Dr. Graham, welcome to the show. Good to have you with us.
Hi, good morning. Nice to be here, Mr. Strong. Thank you for inviting me.
All right. It is our pleasure. Let us talk about it. Cervical cancer, for those who aren't familiar with it, why this is seen by so many as just such an unnecessary cancer for so many.
It's an unnecessary cancer because it is preventable, absolutely preventable if caught early through early detection. If it's diagnosed early, then you can manage pre-cancer before it actually gets to cancer. So women, if through their pap smears, if they would just do their pap smears, identify from the pap smears that it's abnormal, then you can manage or treat the abnormality and therefore prevent cervical cancer.
Mm-hmm. All right, so let's get back to the pap smears in a bit. But so what causes cervical cancer?
Okay, cervical cancer is caused by a virus. It's the human papilloma virus. And the human papilloma virus is contracted through sexual intercourse. There are several subtypes of the human papilloma virus. Not all of them are cancer causing, but the more common ones that cause cancer, they allocate them with numbers. The 16 and 18 subtypes. The 4 and 11, actually the same virus causes genital warts. So the 4 and 11 causes the genital warts, and the 16 and 18 more commonly causes cancer. Mm-hmm. But there are the other cancer-causing subtypes out there, and but those are the more common ones. There's also 31, 33, 45, 52, and 58 also cause cervical cancer.
Mm-hmm. And HPV can be both in men and women. Is that right?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Now, more than 90% of cases of cervical cancer is caused by HPV. There's a small amount that is familial in nature, mainly due to back in the day, women, I think they're maybe in their 60s now, were prescribed a particular drug called DES. And this particular medication predisposes, if women took it in their pregnancy, it predisposed their kids, their daughters to cervical cancer. Mm-hmm. So that's in a in a very small amount of cases. I think I saw one in my short.
How often do you recommend women to have pap smears done?
In the Bahamas, every year. If I recommend longer, they won't come. Okay. And that's the issue now. A lot of women don't do their pap smears. In the United States, with proper call or recall and system and HPV testing, it's recommended every 3 years. However, we don't really, doing your HPV status is not readily available, especially in the public sector. And so I really would recommend, especially for someone that I don't see often, every time I see them or every year. Now, for women who are consistent with their annuals, then and they have been, and their pap smears have been normal, then I may say to the patient, okay, we could skip this year every other year. There are no formal guidelines as to, in the Bahamas, as to how often we should do our pap smears. And it mainly depends on the population that we have, and the population that we have, because the women hardly do their pap smears, I would say every year.
So when you get the results, is it normal or not normal? Just those two spectrums? Because a lot of times what happens is when you do your pap smear, if there's a problem, you get a call. If not, if you don't get a call, then everything is fine. So is there any in between where the doctor should communicate to a female that, okay, this is okay, but maybe there's something here that you should be doing this? But from what I gather from talking to persons, there's no communication back and forth about the results of the pap smear. It's, if I don't call you, everything is fine.
I think that depends on the physician and the patient relationship. I do not tell my patients that if I don't call you, everything is fine. I tell the patient that I'll have your results in 2 weeks. If you don't hear from me, you call me. Okay? I normally communicate that. So it depends on the physician and how they display it to their patients. Now, sector, the patient should follow up. There are a lot of drives, pap smear drives by various groups. And a lot of times, if a patient comes into me, they'll say, oh, well, I got my pap smear done with so-and-so. I said, well, did you get the results? And they would tell me, well, no, but I assume because I ain't hear nothing, everything okay.
Oh, boy.
And I was like, well, no, that doesn't mean that, because even when you have groups like either the Cancer Society or whatever, you should still follow up. And so when they come in my office now, I'm like, okay, so I don't have nothing to look at. I'm not sure, or even in the public sector. And so sometimes I have to, like if I'm in an outside clinic and they said, well, and they come to me because I work in the oncology unit at Princess Margaret Hospital. I'm on the oncology team. Sometimes we can't find results, and we have to, and that's possible. So you may not have gotten a call because they didn't see your results.
You mean if you go to
some reason
public hospital?
For some, yeah, I mean, for some reason, I mean, you have to understand that the public hospital caters to the patients in the hospital, the clinics, the out islands. So it's a possibility that there could be a mix-up or loss, or sometimes persons are registered under one name and in the hospital system as another name, and, all these different things. So it's up to the patient also to take responsibility and find out for themselves. So that's why I tell my patients, I said, listen, I have a busy office. I will try to get your results. More than likely, I'll get your results to you. But if you see more than 2 weeks pass and I haven't gotten your results, give me a call. WhatsApp me, text me, let me know, hey, Dr. Graham, you didn't send my results yet.
There's a particular healthcare facility that I particularly like. I wouldn't call the name. But the reason why I liked it is after the word got out, what they would do is they would ask you to come in and do your blood work or your pap smear. And then after that, you schedule an appointment with the doctor. So when the doctor comes in to see you, he is coming with your file to show you your blood work and where you're at, and also the results from your pap smear. I think that, to me, that's why I like that particular facility, is a better approach as opposed to getting all these things done and not hearing from the doctor in terms of where your health status is.
Start having pap smears, Dr. Graham?
21.
21. And does it matter whether you are sexually active or not, or have not been? Does it make a difference? That's what.
No. 21. Back in the day when I trained, they used to say when you first start having sexual intercourse, you should be doing your pap smears. What they've found out from studies, because HPV is so common that the younger population will be HPV positive. Once you get and they would have an abnormal pap smear. Once you get an abnormal pap smear, you have to act on it.
Yeah.
And if you start acting on abnormal pap smears and doing biopsies and then having to take off a portion of the cervix because the biopsy showed that you need treatment, then one of the drawbacks of doing treatment on a patient who has an abnormal pap smear is you're lasering off the cells and you take off a portion of the cervix. So if you start taking off a portion of the cervix by the time it's time for you to have kids, you're going to have some sort of cervical incompetence.
My goodness.
So that's one of the drawbacks, and you may have to, therefore, when you get pregnant, you will have to get a stitch, what we call a stitch or cerclage. And so it's not really proposed to start when you're sexually active, but to start at age 21.
Okay, so
women. Sorry.
Go on.
No, I was going to say, women who have had can basically stop having pap smears at the age of 65, providing that they haven't had like an abnormal pap smear in about 5 years.
Okay. All right. So you mentioned HPV is so common. Why don't we do the testing? What is the reason for that?
In the public sector, expense.
You mentioned that many women didn't do a pap smear on an annual basis. Are there any organizations or means by which cost?
Yes, there are various organizations. The Cancer Society, I think, does it free of cost. I know they cater a lot to the out islands now, and I'm not sure about in Providence now. And various offices do it. My office is doing it for the month of January. And basically the cost is just the labs, and I'm just doing it to encourage women to do their pap smears. It's very important.
And you're calling it a pap smear party, is that right?
A pap party, yes.
Okay. All right.
And basically the cost of the it's a $50 charge, but that's basically the cost of the lab. And that is my give back to the Bahamian women. And I do that every year in January.
And thank you.
January.
Thank you.
Cervical Cancer Awareness Month.
Thank you very much for that.
All right, so we're going to take a break. When we come back, I want to get back into HIV prevented. We know there's a vaccine out there. I want to get your view on this and whether we're seeing enough girls and boys getting vaccinated against HPV so that we can stop the spread of this and get into how and why this can become cervical cancer and what the outcomes are if somebody should be diagnosed with that. So a lot more to talk with Dr. Nia Graham about. This is Morning Blend. It's Health Week. We are talking about cervical cancer this morning. Stay with us.
Whether you're looking for your first or new home or even using your existing home as equity, RBC understands that your journey to home ownership is unique and your mortgage financing should reflect that. That is why at RBC we have dedicated mortgage specialists that provide sound advice and helpful solutions to make your dream home a reality. Best of all, the RBC mortgage team is mobile, flexible, and will meet you almost anywhere. Visit rbc.com/take 60 seconds to connect with an RBC mortgage specialist.
Technology serves to make our lives better, so why not your business too? At Custom Computers, we've been maintaining our knowledge and relationships with top tech companies since 1987 and carry only the most trusted brands like Apple, Microsoft, HP, and more. No company has helped more businesses build reliable IT systems than Custom Computers. You name it, we've done it. Call 396-1101 to talk to any of our business experts. Find trust in your tech. Count on Custom Computers.
With so much going on in the world today, only accepting cash at your business can be risky. Let Fidelity offer you and your customers safety, convenience, and the flexibility of a fixed or mobile terminal. Take it with you, on the move and on the go, because business should never stop. For more details, speak to one of our business development officers at 356-7764 in Nassau or 352-6676 in Freeport. Visit our website at fidelitygroup.com or visit us at any of our
Florida Auto Parts can deliver all the auto parts your car will ever need, direct from the USA and from around the world. Florida Auto Parts provides fast delivery on auto parts, and we ship throughout the Bahamas, genuine or aftermarket, new or used, and all for the best price. Call Florida Auto Parts Trusted Parts Rep on WhatsApp at 1-786-772-8777 to save on your next auto parts purchase. Florida Auto Parts, the right parts at the right price.
Earning zero interest on your savings at the bank? With as little as $100, you can start earning interest on your money while you're sleeping, eating, or standing in line at the bank with the CFAL Savings Express Plan. Ready to invest? Start by putting $1,000 into our mutual funds and earn interest there too. Because at CFAL, your interest is our interest. Visit CFAL.com to start now. CFAL, growing wealth.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
Sarah, how are you doing?
Okay.
Are you sure? I noticed you've been down lately.
Yeah, sometimes I don't know. I can't really put into words how I'm feeling, but I know I don't feel like myself sometimes. There's just so much going on in my life. School, friends, sports. Sometimes I worry about different things and feel stressed.
I'm glad you're talking to me. And it's okay to talk about your feeling. It's normal to feel changes depending upon what's going on around you.
Yeah?
Of course. All of us should be concerned with our mental health and our well-being. Good mental health means that we can cope with our everyday stresses. You can talk to me anytime when you feel like it.
Okay. We should have these Strachan talks more often and take things from there.
Message is brought to you by PAHO WHO and the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
We are back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Pamela Musgrove. It's Health Week on the show this week. We are talking about health issues all week long and mental health as well, so not just your physical health. But today we're talking about cervical cancer. It's Cervical Cancer Awareness Month, and we have OBGYN Dr. Neil Graham with us talking about cervical cancer. All right, so you mentioned it. HPV is largely more than 90% the reason why people develop. What are the rates, what are the numbers we're seeing for cervical cancer in the Bahamas at this time?
Okay. Actually, the amount of new cases I got some stats from the Ministry of Health. Once again, thank you, Ms. Minus, for providing, Ms. Valerie Minus, for providing these stats for me. And basically, cervical cancer has been, okay, so for the year 2018, there has been 18 new cases. For 2019, 21 new cases. 2020, 26 new cases.
Oh boy.
And 2021, 9 new cases. Now, bear in mind, though, around the period 2020 and 2021, these numbers may not be exact because of this was around the time of COVID. Results may not be as accurate. So we don't have anything for the year 2022 yet.
So if I
now
go to a private, sorry. If I go to a private, sorry, go ahead.
Go on, Dr. Graham.
Okay, I just wanted to let the public know, though, cervical cancer was known for a while to be the number one cancer of the female reproductive tract. However, over the last, I don't know, maybe more than 5 years, we have seen that uterine cancer has been neck and neck with cervical.
Wow.
So, but cervical cancer, as I mentioned, is preventable. And it has more to do with HPV versus uterine. That's a totally different topic.
And if
just so you.
And if you're diagnosed, what is this? Can you survive this, or what are we looking at here?
Well, cervical. Well, if you have cervical cancer now, of course, the earlier the stages, the better the prognosis. Okay, so if you're at a stage, of course, where stage 1, now the different stages, I won't go into that, but it breaks up into A and A1, and B and B1 and all of that. But when you're looking generally at the stages, the earlier the stages, the better the prognosis. And that is why doing your pap smears is so important, because and a lot of women feel as though once their pap smear is abnormal, they have cancer. I have had women who haven't returned for a long time. We're trying to call them at the clinic, you can't get through and all this kind of thing. And, when you finally get them back in the clinic, they're like, I thought I had cancer. I got scared. I didn't. And I always have to tell, I did not tell you had cancer. As a matter of fact, my first statement to the patient when they come with an abnormal pap smear is, you do not have cancer. You have pre-cancer cells that can be managed before it gets to cancer. And so it's very important. I mean, talking about what stage and prognosis, yes, we can talk about that, but the whole thing is to try to get the patient before it gets to that stage. Women are often present when they start having bleeding and bleeding after sex and abnormal bleeding. That's the most common way to present, or an abnormal discharge, a foul-smelling, discharge. That may be how they present. Stage, you may have missed the boat. Okay, and usually these women are women who have not had a pap smear in years. Actually, the one patient, the longest I've ever had is the conversation is the same. I haven't had a pap smear since my last child.
Wow.
And a patient, the longest I have seen, she said, my child is 34 years.
Oh my goodness.
And I looked at her and I was like, how could you not have a pap smear in 34 years? Like, that's criminal. Okay. And it wasn't for lack of funds. Okay. So yes, I understand it's uncomfortable and nobody really likes to do it, but it's something that has to be done.
Let's go back to the statistics. So if I were to go to a private doctor and they discovered after my pap smear that I have, let's say, some stage of cervical cancer, is that information transferred over to the Ministry of Health? That you have given include public and private patients that have.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. So let's say you are in one of these middle stages there. What is the likelihood that you will survive this? What is the course of action generally if you are determined to have cervical cancer?
Okay, so in the early stage, where surgery is, you can get surgery. Then the prognosis is pretty good, more than 70-80%. Of course, as you get more advanced, as I mentioned, the prognosis decreases. Now, the thing is, that's providing that you can get treatment. Now, everybody should be able to access a surgery at Princess Margaret Hospital. And the cost is much less. The problem arises when the patient in the stage 2, 2B and more, you're looking at somebody who's inoperable. And so these patients need radiation and chemoradiation at that. So chemo is not free and radiation is not free. And this is where the problem lies because women may have to access monies that they don't have. And mind you, the government, I think, pays a portion for radiation, but you have to come up with something. And this is where the problem arises.
What is the death?
Sorry?
What is the death rate for cervical cancer?
I did not get the death rate from Ms. Minus's. This is only new cases. So I'm not sure, but
that definitely.
Anecdotally, do you think that many women die from cervical cancer?
Yes, and worldwide, not just here in the Bahamas, but worldwide.
Yeah. So this is why it's all the more shocking.
And it's mainly in low socioeconomic countries, especially because of lack of resources and women, even though it's a preventable disease, women either can't, places like Africa or those places, even though it may seem as though a pap smear for $50 or a pap smear for $100 and some dollars is not much. In some of these countries, it's they would prefer to spend those funds somewhere else.
Yeah. All right, so let's talk about it. Again, this is shocking because it is preventable. We have a vaccine now. It's been around for about 15 years. Let's talk about that and who should get this vaccine and how much of a difference this can make.
Yes, well, it's very important, first of all, for kids to be vaccinated. Okay? Now, around the age of 11 and 12, they are advocating that our children be vaccinated.
And that's
and before
girls and boys, right?
Girls and boys.
Girls and boys.
And that's And that's before they become sexually active. So they'll be protected when they become sexually active. So this is in hopes of eradicating cervical cancer in the future. All right. But the problem I see is that from speaking to a few of the schools, the kids aren't being, the vaccination drive, I don't know if it's as good as it should be. And I think, parents aren't giving consent to having the vaccine given. And I think it's mainly because they're not educated. And so, first of all, you have to parents, on exactly what the vaccine is about, and why we're doing it. Now, there's a mandate on the spouse of the Prime Minister's office to eradicate. There's a United Nations Sustainable Development Goal number 3 to basically eradicate cervical cancer in the year 2030.
Very close.
All right, exactly.
Do you think?
Sorry.
Yeah. Do you think we need to make HPV vaccination mandatory now?
Well, if they wanna eradicate cervical cancer, but again, that's in the future generations.
So
you have to educate the parents on that, and the only way before you even get to vaccinating the kids, education is very, very important.
Right. So what will
I know I heard a woman say, "Oh, I want to get my child vaccinated, but I'm not getting vaccinated."
So what would taking the vaccination do, or the vaccine do? What will occur? Does that mean down the road that women will not have to get their pap smear done?
Well, if we manage to get it eradicated, but I wouldn't say that, because you still have to screen. All right, because there are going to be some people that fall through the cracks. Now, in terms of it being mandatory, the HPV is on the immunization, right? So it's just a matter of the parents giving consent to having their kids vaccinated.
Yeah, I think you have to help people. Parents need to understand, what will this do? This, like, down the road, would I still be required to do all the things I'm doing now without the vaccine? And how will taking the vaccine help with boys?
Well, first of all, the males are carriers, and there's no way of screening men. Okay, we have a pap smear. When I was doing my talk on Thursday at Fusion, the few men that did come, they were shocked, because everybody feels as though cervical cancer is a female only thing.
Right.
Because, I don't have the cervix, I don't have to worry about that. But it very much involves men.
Yes. Yeah.
Because it's a sexually transmitted infection, and HPV does not only affect the cervix.
Right. You mentioned it. It causes genital warts and other things as well in men.
Yeah, but no, not only that. I'm talking about the cancer causing. All right. It causes cancer of the cervix, the vagina, the vulva, the anus, and the throat.
Wow. Wow.
So of the new cases.
And the penis in men. So men can get penile cancers from HPV.
Absolutely.
So of the new cases, how many of them were men?
No. Cervical
No,
cancer.
it was cervical cancer.
So only cervical.
That's my point, because you asked me to do vaccine for cervical cancer, so people will have.
So I mean, the question: we're getting the throat cancers and the anus cancers and the penile cancer that you talked about, likely because of HPV. But those numbers, we don't know those numbers. You have those numbers as well?
I have some. Hold on. I have some. other cancers here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so no, they only have the lung, so I can't say about that. No.
All right, so
no, I don't have.
If you did get the vaccine, are we saying that then you are guaranteed not to ever have perhaps cervical cancer? No, it's not a guarantee.
No, it's not a guarantee. It's not 100%.
Oh boy.
And then also too, you have to understand that the vaccine is prevention. Okay? So if you have an infection with a 16, it could be a persistent infection. Now, the younger you are, the better you are equipped to clear the virus. So you can clear it, and it's mostly seen in young people. But there are some persons who can have what we call a persistent infection, meaning that you didn't clear the virus. When you get the vaccine, vaccine is not treatment. So it's not going to do anything for a persistent infection that you have. It will probably cover. There are two HV, that is mostly used here with the Gardasil. There are two of them. There's the quadrivalent one or the Gardasil 4, and there's a 9-valent one. So the 9-valent one gives you an extra 5 subtypes that it covers. And so the thing is, we know about the more common ones, because I have women say, oh, well, I did my pap smear. It's still coming up abnormal. But I got the vaccine. Why is that? And then, I have to explain to them. First of all, it's not 100%. Second of all, you could have had a persistent infection. Of course, it's not treatment. So it would prevent you against some of the other strains.
Do you think that's going to be that's a tough sell for people, knowing that you're getting this vaccine and it's still not 100% going to protect you? Do you think that's causing some of the issues?
Well, it shouldn't, because the whole point is that you still can be protected against some of the.
Yeah.
Should the focus be like speaking to women first, like trying to get as much women on board before we try to get the males on board? Because I think that may be a hard sell for some parents to have their boys vaccinated.
Education is paramount, and that is the aim of January for me every year. Okay, before I do my discounted paps and all of that, is education. And this is what they need to understand, that the vaccine, it isn't just a girl thing. It's not just a female thing.
Yeah.
We every time we talk about cervical cancer, we talk about the vaccine and everything. But actually, the Gardasil 9 was actually created in the beginning. They always said this was created for the men.
Yeah. I don't understand why it's a tough sell. I mean, as we've seen, we know this, that vaccines provide protection, but not necessarily can prevent, as we see with the flu vaccine and now with COVID, right? So it's an extra layer of protection, and everybody needs that.
But I do have women who I manage for abnormal pap smears, and I tell them, I said, I tell them about the vaccine, I educate them about the vaccine, and I also tell them, hey, if you want your partner vaccinated, that can also happen. And in a lot of cases, I guess for purposes of, well, no, actually, because the vaccination is not covered by insurance. So whether you're public or private, you have to, you would have to pay something. But in a lot of cases, women say yes, they want their partner vaccinated also.
Okay, now I've heard before that once you're sexually active, it doesn't work as well or at all. Is that the case? And what are there age limits? What can you tell us about that with the vaccine?
It isn't as effective as you get older. That's why it's important to do it in the boys and girls. So it isn't as effective. That's why they want to do it like that. Now, according to guidelines in the U.S., and if you go to your NHI or your normal GP, they would tell you, oh, we don't give vaccinations. I think the age is 45. I trained under the oncologist, the main oncologist, gynae oncologist in the Bahamas, Dr. Riley Butler. Hey, and Dr. Halliday, they're my bosses. And I have trained under him for about 10 years. And Dr. Butler gives everybody vaccinations.
Oh, okay.
So the push is really to get the boys and girls 12 or under vaccinated, and then under vaccinated, and then older persons who are already sexually active to get them to do their females to do the pap smear on an annual basis to detect for any issues.
Yes, and vaccine.
And what type of test are we recommending for males? We have to get our pap smear. What type of screening is recommended for males to determine if they have any issues?
I mentioned. No, that's what I mentioned earlier. There's no screening for males.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, this person's asking, but you explained this already, but I guess you need to say it again. If the vaccine that you were talking about, that was a specific one you were talking about, though, was developed for men, why are women getting it?
No, it's both men, but initially it was targeted. Yeah. No, men and women get it.
Yeah.
Because it's an extended coverage.
All right. So you told us about it, the PAP party. Tell us about those, what people need to do, what women need to do if they want to be a part of this, and what's it going to cost them?
Okay, so the PAP party is basically created at the environment. It was created for women to encourage women to get the pap smears, basically. Now, I always say, and $50, the $50, it's a $50 charge, and that is basically for the lab. So you have the physician that does the actual pap smear or pap test, and then it is sent to the lab, okay, to be read by a cytologist. Okay, so basically the monies go towards the lab. My services are given free.
Wow.
Okay.
Wonderful.
And that is just to encourage women to do that. Now, we normally find monies for whatever we want to find monies for. But for some reason, when it's $100 and some to do a PAP and lab, persons use the cost factor as to why they can't afford it or they can't afford it. The price is slashed, and women can feel free to come in a nice environment and come into their PAP.
And how long are you offering this for? For the whole month, the rest of the month, or how does it work?
This week is Cervical Cancer Prevention Week. And so it's done for the week, the 23rd actually to the 28th. I'm not in office on the 29th.
Okay.
So basically they can WhatsApp our office cell at 804-0414 if they're interested, and they can let us know which day they would like to come. It's from 10 to 5 p.m. and they can come and do their PAP, and they should get a call from the office within probably I would say about 2 weeks.
Okay.
Usually it's less, but because it's a good amount, I'm gonna give the lab time to be able to process all of them.
You've said that,
and of course,
you've done this.
And I always tell my patients, if they do not hear, please message me and say I'm following up on my PAP.
You said you've done this on an annual basis. What has the response been like?
The response has been not very good. I mean, I'm thinking I can do, it's been like on average 50 some women.
For the week?
Yeah.
Oh boy. All right. Well, hopefully they're listening today, and get out there, folks. Dr. Graham, where are you located so people can know where they're going to be?
Okay, I'm in Palmdale, but once they WhatsApp the office and make an appointment, the exact location, the GPS will be sent to them.
Okay.
But I'm in Palmdale. I'm in the area of Wendy's, the new Wendy's.
All right. And how long does it normally take to do the exam?
Pap?
Yeah.
less than 10 minutes.
Oh, wow. Okay. And anything that women need to do before they do the exam? Anything that they shouldn't do that they should do?
Well, if you're bleeding, that's not the best time to come and do your Pap. Unfortunately, the Pap party is just for this week. So, of course, if you're having your menses this week, then you wouldn't be able to participate.
Yeah. Okay.
And of course, abstain for 24 hours before you do it will be good. And yeah.
All right.
That's that.
Give us that WhatsApp number one more time.
That's 804-0414.
Okay.
All right. Now, please don't call.
Don't call. WhatsApp.
Yeah, because I'll be doing, I'll be doing Paps and stuff the whole week. I took vacation this week to do it.
All right. You're going to be very busy. Dr. Nina Graham, thank you so much for giving this very important information, cervical cancer awareness. We hope everyone's paying attention to this. And men need to understand they have a role to play in this as well. Right? So let's have these conversations. Let's get that education out there for parents to get their boys and girls vaccinated against HPV. Thank you again. Appreciate it, Dr. Graham.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
All right.
Good morning.
We're going to take a break. When we come back, we continue with Health Week Business. We're going to be talking about smoking in public places. Why is this still a thing? And the dangers of secondhand smoke. Is it time for us to really crack down and send a message out there? Pick that up on the other side. Stay with us.
Wake up, it's a new day.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning and welcome to Morning Done Business on this Monday, January 23rd, 2023. Welcome back to our Morning Blend listeners. Dwight Strachan along with Pamela Musgrove. Hey, it's 12323 or 23123. Look at that. That's got to be good luck for somebody out there, right? All right, so as we said, it's Health Week all week on the show this week. We're going to be looking at health issues. And this is in business. Today we're talking about health issues and secondhand smoke and smoking in public places. We know this was a few years back where the government announced that you wouldn't be allowed to smoke in government buildings. So that includes the airport and I think the ministries. But smoking is still allowed in many private spaces here, the casinos. And some restaurants still have smoking sections. This hit me last month, December. I went to the Bahamas Bowl, the football game. And in the stadium, Thomas A. Robinson National Stadium, and I'm sitting out, in the stands, and I'm like smelling cigarette smoke. And I'm like, why? What's happening right now? And I look around, and I see one of the spectators is smoking right there, and the smoke is blowing right in my face. And they weren't right in front of me; they're like down closer to this to the field, and I'm like, wait, how is this happening? How is this guy out here smoking? And I realized there's nothing really stopping him from doing that. And I'm like, this can't be allowed. This is crazy. I could get up and move, but this doesn't solve the issue that folks are smoking near people. And I thought about the people in the restaurants and the casinos. And can you imagine just being in there working all day and inhaling this stuff? And why are we doing this? Why haven't we done anything about that here in the Bahamas?
But the organizers should have dealt with that, right? In terms of persons being allowed to smoke, even though it's partially open, you were still in a closed-in area, and like you said, the smoke was affecting you. Face. So, I think the organizers should have dealt with that and put up a sign: "No smoking."
Do they care? Are they aware? Do they? Right? That's the issue, and that's the thing here. I mean, if it's not against the law here, is anybody going to take it upon themselves to do that? And I find it. Yeah, I don't think they would. Maybe they should have, but did they even think about it? And so this is what we're talking about today. And I mentioned it a few weeks ago that I want to start a campaign for this to stop. And we all have heard for decades about the dangers of secondhand smoke. But are we taking it seriously? And I noticed that Bahamians seem to think that there aren't many people smoking around here. But that is far from the truth. Right, and we have many Bahamians who smoke and many tourists who come here, and they know where many of them where they are from that they can't do these things. But once they're here in the Bahamas, everything goes. You can do whatever you want to do, whenever, wherever, anytime. But here, just in case you don't know, let's talk about some of the dangers of secondhand smoke. The CDC, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, says there is no safe level of exposure to secondhand smoke. Even brief exposure can cause immediate harm. Health problems caused by secondhand smoke in adults who do not smoke include coronary heart disease, stroke, and lung cancer, as well as adverse reproductive health effects in women, including low birth rate. Secondhand smoke can cause sudden infant death syndrome, SIDS, respiratory infections, ear infections, and asthma attacks in infants and children. There is no safe level of exposure to secondhand smoke. People who do not smoke, who are exposed to secondhand smoke, even for a short time, can suffer harmful effects in adults. Secondhand smoke exposure, we said that already, right? Can lung, stroke, and other diseases. For adults who do not smoke, exposure to secondhand smoke has had immediate harmful effects. Secondhand smoke causes nearly 34,000 premature deaths from heart disease each year in the U.S. Adults who do not smoke are exposed to secondhand smoke increase their risk of developing coronary heart disease by 25 to 30%. Adults who do not smoke and are exposed to secondhand smoke increase their risk for stroke by 20 to 30%. Exposure to secondhand smoke interferes with the normal functioning of the heart, blood, and vascular systems in ways that increase the risk of having a heart attack. Even brief exposure to secondhand smoke can cause the lining of the blood vessels and cause blood platelets to become stickier. These changes can cause an increased risk of heart attack. and people who already have heart disease are at especially high risk of suffering the harmful effects from breathing secondhand smoke and should take precautions to avoid even brief exposures. That's all scary stuff there. Scary stuff there. And again, think about the casinos. Doing some research, apparently Bahamar, they are a non-smoking casino facility, it seems, but Atlantis allows you to smoke.
And it's affecting the employees. So for that reason, yeah.
Right? I mean, think about those people. Think about your staff. And again, a lot of these folks who come to casinos here and other restaurants where they have a smoking section, which is ridiculous. The smoking section, the smoke is getting around. They come from places where they're not allowed to do this.
But that has to do with legislation, though, right?
Yeah.
I don't think we should rely on the company itself to determine its smoking policy. That should come from Parliament.
Well, I'm calling on everybody.
Yeah. No,
I mean, because you
smoking
cannot
in
wait on the
public
government for
places.
anything,
Yeah.
as we see. But you can, in your business establishment, say, no, you can't do that in here. If you wait for the government, you'll be waiting forever. But we need everybody to act. We need the government to get serious, and we need the companies to take it upon themselves as well to ban this. Ban it in bars, ban it in clubs, ban it in pubs, ban it in restaurants, ban it. What say you on this, though, folks? What say you on this? I want to get to this article before we get your reaction, though. This was an article in the Associated Press released this last year about smoking bans no longer a threat to casino revenue. There was many people thinking that if you ban smoking, people won't come to gamble in your casino. Well, this report says that for decades it was accepted wisdom in the casino industry that eliminating smoking would automatically lead to revenue declines and customer losses. But a new report examining how the coronavirus pandemic has changed gamblers' habits says that may no longer be the case. The report issued Friday by the Las Vegas-based C3 Gaming come as several states, this is dated from June of last year, several states, including New Jersey, Rhode Island, and Pennsylvania, are considering banning smoking in casinos. The research firm says that its report was done independently and was not financed by any outside party. It notes that the pandemic changed several key aspects of the casino experience, including the elimination of daily housekeeping in many places, closing of buffets, and an end to room service, all of which customers have gotten used to. It suggests that smoking will be the next such shit. The authors of the report noted that, quote, the pandemic altered consumer expectations and consumer behavior in virtually every industry, including retail, entertainment, lodging, dining, and casino gaming. One of those changes in attitudes towards smoking in casinos. That's one of the changes. Data from multiple jurisdictions clearly indicates that banning smoking no longer causes a dramatic drop in gaming revenue. In fact, non-smoking properties appear to be performing better than their counterparts that continue to allow smoking.
That makes sense, because if someone doesn't want to be affected by secondhand smoke, they're going to go in the casino, as well as those persons who smoke but are not allowed to smoke in casino, whereas they wouldn't go to that casino where there's smoking indoors.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that makes sense.
Yeah. All right, so let's get your reaction to it, folks. Do you not care at all, or is it something that you're wondering about as well? Why are we still here? How did the government back all those years ago ban smoking in public and government businesses and buildings, but not across the board? Do we need it now? 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796.
It should be banned. And I think, too, sometimes what happens is persons who do smoke, they would go outside to the entrance and smoke. And then persons coming in can inhale that smoke as well. Mm-hmm. So I think they probably need to go off where people don't really congregate and smoke, as opposed to right at the entrance, because they cannot smoke inside a building.
Yeah. Well, you can have some places have a smoking area, not near the door,
right.
Somewhere where they can congregate and do their thing. But yeah. All right, so let's hear from you again. 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796.
And a number of the younger people are vaping now.
Yeah, that's just as bad. Yeah.
They are vaping.
And they think they can do it anywhere.
Yeah, I think that too. And because it's not banned in all buildings, they probably be in a closed building and vape because it wouldn't affect.
And companies are so lax with the vaping. Then the people are thinking in something, it smells like cherries, it's fine. No. Stop it. I think I told this, I don't know if I told you this story, but I was in the movies a few years back, and I saw this, what looked like smoke. I'm like, wait, this place is on fire. What's going on here, right? And then, because coming from way down, then I realized it was somebody vaping. They think it's so different that they could just whip that out and start huffing and puffing.
But do you blame them?
Yes.
If you blame them if the establishment doesn't have an issue with it, and if the legislation says that this establishment can allow it to happen?
I hear you.
So then
I do blame them, though. The nerve. I think they have a lot of nerve. But I get your point. I do get your point.
And many persons like me who don't know about vaping may feel that, it is not dangerous or as dangerous as smoking a cigarette.
Mm-hmm. I don't know about secondhand vape, but we can look that up and see. But it's not good for them. But I guess nobody cares. If they don't care, why do we
smoke? In a closed-in building, it's probably not good for for persons. I guess study down the road would show it's not good for persons who are inhaling it as well.
Mm-hmm. Caller, what say you on this? Good morning.
Good morning, guys. I just want to ask you a quick question. We up here this morning talking about smoking and vaping with all the diet situation and issues going on in our country.
That's right. Yeah, we are, because that's also an issue. Right? And we talk about many different things. Come on now. You wasted your time calling about that? Yeah, because this was scheduled. This is what we were scheduled to talk about. And we were talking about the other issues that you talked about early in the show. And we talk about them every single day. But you don't think this is important. Okay, great. But thank you for calling to tell us that you think it's not important. Wonderful.
Yeah, it is an important topic. I think we had 400 and some cancer patients who died, I think in 2018, and 25 of those patients were died from lung cancer. So it is an important point, and it do affect persons in our country.
Yeah, they're saying secondhand vape is dangerous as well.
Well, then, see, I think a lot of people don't know that.
Yeah, this is from the American Non-Smokers' Rights Foundation. Well, I guess they would say this, but I've got other sources as well. Mm-hmm. They're saying if you're around someone who is using e-cigarettes, you're breathing in aerosol of exhaled nicotine, ultrafine particles, volatile organic compounds, and other toxins.
And I think a lot of young people are doing it because it's a fad, like persons who wouldn't normally smoke are, experimenting with e-cigarettes.
Yeah. So they're studying secondhand vaping issues as well. This person says here, it should be banned, but the Bahamas has the lowest rate of smoking in the world. I don't know where you got your numbers from or got that from. I don't know if that is accurate at all. But in any event, we have a lot of people who come here.
Anecdotally, yeah. I mean, Bahamians, I don't normally see. I would see persons from other nationalities smoking, but just in my travels, I don't see a lot of Bahamians
I invite you to go to any Bahamian bar, pub, and see.
Now, is secondhand marijuana dangerous? Smoke dangerous? I'm just asking.
It can alter your mood and your behavior. But anyway, this person says here, you should have a show about banning people, mainly tourists, walking in public on Bay Street in their thongs. I'm sure they can't do that where they come from. They might as well wear nothing.
They probably can. They probably won't.
This person says here, what do I understand this text? Okay. Ban smoking in every public area. If they want to smoke at your home. I have asthma and smoking really affects me. I have to pay because someone made me sick. Cigarettes should cost $500 a pack. This is how people are hypocrites. They fought for a ban on plastics but not smoke. It's an interesting. I don't know how you got from that to that one there, but okay. Well, you got to call for it. We have to call for it, right? If we feel this is going to be good for humans, call for it. Maybe they just don't get it. Maybe they think it's only a few people and it's only a little bit and only a little while. But if we hear more about the dangers of secondhand smoke, and more people will need to act. I don't know how the casino workers can be so quiet.
Or maybe
trying
they
to
feel
protect their
that
job.
we are a tourist destination. If they were to ban it in private places, that would affect the tourist dollar. Maybe that's the argument or thinking behind it.
Okay, well, as we know, gamblers, that's an addiction too, and they will endure the lack of being able to smoke if they have to gamble. So you don't have to be too concerned about that one. Can you imagine, please? Yeah, right. Anyway, this person says here, what about smoke from barbecue grills? Someone has opened a barbecue pit in my residential community near to my home. The grills are sometimes very smoky. We have to close all of our windows. I know that this smoke is also a hazard. I have complained to health officials, Ministry of Works, and Town Planning over the past 2 years, but nothing was ever done. It is a problem. Yeah, it is. All types of smoke. All types of smoke. Absolutely. In fact, they say that you shouldn't even eat that every day. That would be as bad, right? Charcoal smoking. Yeah. And that's the same thing, Pam, we were talking about earlier, right? You complain, and what happens?
Well, I never thought of it like that, though, with the barbecue.
Yeah. You can't breathe that in all the time.
You should be eating that all the time either.
No, that's what they say. You shouldn't. It should be a treat once in a while.
Once in a while.
Ah, boy. Everything's a joke to people. This person says, so that texter who said ban women in thongs, that person ain't safe. Well, they didn't say women. So they said people. So maybe that's... Okay. This person says, smoking in public is a very serious issue. When I worked in the hotel, I advocated for no smoking in enclosed bars and restaurants. I got severe pushback from management. So as a supervisor, I used to put no smoking signs on the bar to protect my staff and hide them when management came around.
Wow.
That's really unfortunate that you had to do it like that. Seems that hasn't changed much.
It's a health hazard, and I think government should enact laws that prevent persons from smoking in closed-in areas. Because like I said, if you are concerned about visitors and how they would react, you have to think about the persons who work at these establishments and have to inhale, that's 8 hours a day, have to inhale that smoke. That's unacceptable.
And you have to wonder, why is it? Why haven't we heard from them on this? What is the issue? Why haven't they pushed for this?
Maybe we haven't lobbied it enough. Maybe we haven't pushed it, like you always say. Maybe do you think that's the issue?
I'm sure. But as, let's say, the Ministry of Health, as medical professionals, come on.
You have I imagine some health officials smoke as well. So they probably don't see anything wrong with it.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But I think legislation should follow preventing smoking in public places.
I do want to go back
private.
to that caller earlier, though, who seemed to be suggesting that this isn't a big issue, this isn't a priority, because this is the typical way we do things in the Bahamas, right? We only want to talk about the things that are right in front of our face, the big crisis thing that just collapsed. Talk about it then for a couple of days, but the other thing that is brewing in the background, it's not important right now. We've got bigger problems to solve in the country. This is why we are where we are, folks. Because, you're trying to out the fire that's blazing in front of you, but the thing on the back burner is running out of water, and it's about to catch on fire, too.
All of these issues are important, and it's important for us to have the conversations.
Absolutely.
It's important to have the conversations.
Oh, man. Okay, this texter. I strongly advocate the banning of smoking in closed areas. Also, there ought to be a distance between persons.
I agree.
That.
I agree totally. Because I've experienced it.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I can hold my breath while I pass, and then when I get out, try to, know.
They go on to say, I am seeing more and more young men parading around with cigars, which is a complete nuisance. Not just men. As a nurse, I've seen the results of secondhand smoke also. Additionally, employees in the casino should be paid at-risk salaries Noteworthy is that the emissions from vehicles need to also be considered. Yeah. Yeah, you remember a few years ago they were going to be doing emissions testing, and at the last minute that was scrapped, and we've never gone back to that, which is very bizarre. But you could avoid all that, paying them risk salaries instead. Just ban smoking.
Yeah, no,
Come on.
Because I don't think you could pay them enough for the health effects if they were to be sick or get cancer because of secondhand smoke.
And it's going to be a burden on us again. On us.
The healthcare system. Mm-hmm.
But why? Why are we doing this? It makes no sense. This person says here, don't be quick to dismiss your caller. Monday is a high news day. You have Friday through Sunday worth of news happening to discuss and vent about. Maybe a slight adjustment. Guess its subject order might be in order. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, you're going to be hearing about all of this, and you've been hearing about it. How many times have we been talking about the madness of PMH, right? And us talking, has it changed anything at all? And we'll get back. I have a whole lot of text messages from earlier in the day, but these are all issues that need to be addressed because we will be here in 20 years when everybody has lung cancer, wondering, oh my gosh, why and how. And
I think we do have quite a number of persons who have it today, and
Absolutely.
Most of those persons would have to be treated at the Princess Margaret Hospital.
And plenty of them never smoked one day in their life.
I know.
Never smoked
for a
one
fact.
day in their life.
Someone who had died of lung cancer but always hung around the club where persons were smoking.
We can leave that right there. 323-6232. 325-4316. 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us 422-4796. You see, this is what happens, why things don't get addressed. Because everybody dismisses it and puts it on a importance list, right?
Kick the can down the road.
Yeah. You live next to a barbecue going all day long every day. That's not important compared to all the things happening in this country. What? People smoking in a bar? You're concerned about that? Well, don't go to the bar. That's not important. Yeah, the guy was smoking in front of you at the stadium. Well, you should move. Was every seat taken? Bahamas Bowl? Who goes to that? Nobody goes to that. You should have moved. You could have found a seat somewhere else. You wasted time complaining about that. Yep. Sure. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Dwight, and morning to your guest.
Hi.
Good morning.
Yeah, okay. I want to comment on the blood situation, and I will make a comment, too. We already go to that hospital a long time ago. I think we need a brand new hospital a couple of years ago. They need to start taking that more serious. Now, I will comment on the blood. The issue, I know one time ago, BTC, I think it was BTC, they had some incentive they was giving out for people who donate blood. I think we need to go back to something like that. And, you know, even if they just say everyone who donates, we give $50, I'm sure you'll have a good crowd coming to give blood. But just as we keep saying, well, come give blood, they ain't come like that. Or if it be like you said, a family member, and by that time it'll be too late. And then it's all very out of order. We have over 300,000 people here, and if 500 can't give blood, that may be in trouble. Anyhow, thank you.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Again, not everybody can give blood. It's a lot of issues, a lot of reasons, a lot of... When you donate, they ask you a whole bunch of questions. What have you done in the last few weeks? Have you done this? How many partners? How many this, that kind of thing? A lot of stuff. And a lot of people probably shouldn't. So there's a lot to be, right? You need to be very careful with that.
Even as it relates to the hospital, the government spent last fiscal year $441 million on healthcare. That's a lot of money. And if you factor in what is spent on healthcare from the private sector, you're looking at, in estimate, healthcare expenditure to GDP of about 13+%. And then you compare that to Canada, that has a healthcare system, a public healthcare system, they spend about 12% healthcare expenditure, and the UK 12%. So we are spending money on healthcare, but we're not yielding the results that we could yield if there was better management.
Yeah, and I'm sure the health of the people is also weighing that down here. Right? Quick to dismiss health concerns because they don't seem like priority. Right, folks, for foolish reasons, not getting their children vaccinated against something that could cause someone to die in the future. But that's not your problem, right? That's somebody else's problem. And so attitudes like that, they explain exactly where we are and why we are here. Because you talked about lack of empathy earlier. Yeah, that's an epidemic in the country. If it doesn't affect me directly, right in front of my face right now, it is not important.
Yeah, vaccination and taking the vaccine is a controversial topic. So I don't think we can ever get this large agreement for it. It's a very controversial issue, and some people swear by the fact that because they took it, it had some negative effect on them. So those who choose to do it, do it. Those who don't. But I just think that we have to better manage our healthcare system if we want to see more positive results.
Yeah. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll get to all of your text messages from early in the show, the ones we didn't get to about the crisis of PMH, but we're going to make this final appeal on this issue here. Companies, if you have a heart, consider the bans in your space, right? And we appeal to lawmakers and the Ministry of Health to put this on your priority list as well. We have to deal with this. Take some consideration for the folks who are working in these environments. They don't have to be there breathing in smoke-filled air on their entire 8 or drift. But hey, this is Morning Blend Business. It's Health Week here on Morning Blend. Stay with us.
Ready to save? You can put $100 into the CFAL Savings Express Plan and make sure your money keeps growing. Earn interest on your savings while you're sleeping, eating, or standing in line at the bank. Ready to invest? Start by putting $1,000 into our mutual funds and earn interest there too. Because at CFAL, your interest is our interest. Visit CFAL.com to start now. CFAL. Growing wealth for future generations of Bahamians.
Legacy College Readiness and Tours. Already get the first set of knowledge. Now it's time to prepare you for college. You're thinking so much you gotta do. Legacy will handle that for you.
Legacy College Readiness and Tours is committed to providing a comprehensive guide through the college selection process. Regardless of a student's academics should engage in college selection process. Word of mouth, extensive research, college fairs, and if possible, the most important, college visits. A campus visit is your opportunity to get a first-hand view of a college. A college catalog, brochure, or website can only show you so much. To really get a feel for the college, you need to check out the town, the city, walk around the quad, sit in a class, and visit dorms. College tours are an important part of the college selection process, and Legacy College Readiness and Tours offers that opportunity. If you're interested in hearing more about college campus tours and summer workshop prospects, give us a call at 242-809-5278 or email us at legacycollegetours@gmail.com.
We're good for you. Whether your business is in store, on the go, or both, let Fidelity work with you to maximize your customers' payment options with a fixed or mobile terminal so that you never miss a sale. It's safer than cash and more convenient so that you can take your business anywhere. For details, contact a business development officer today at 356-7764 in Nassau or 352-6676 in Freeport, or visit our website at fidelitygroup.com.
Hey, Bill, glad to see you back in the office.
Who?
Bill.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I think you're mistaking me for someone else.
Tom.
Nope.
Jack.
No.
Alex.
No. Want me to just tell you?
Nope, I got this, George.
No, you don't. Still not.
Adam.
Not even close, man.
We're like a coworker that didn't forget your name. CG Atlantic Agents and Brokers. Good like that.
Okay, good to see you, Mike John.
It's Mordecai.
With so much going on in the world today, only accepting cash at your business can be risky. Let Fidelity offer you and your customers safety, convenience, and the flexibility of a fixed or mobile terminal. Take it with you, on the move and on the go, because business should never stop. For more details, speak to one of our business development officers at 356-7764 in Nassau or 352-6676 in Freeport. Visit our website at fidelitygroup.com or visit us at any of our branches.
Earning zero interest on your savings at the bank? With as little as $100, you can start earning interest on your money while you're sleeping, eating, or standing in line at the bank with the CFAL Savings Express Plan. Ready to invest? Start by putting $1,000 into our mutual funds and earn interest there too. Because at CFAL, your interest is our interest. Visit CFAL.com to start now. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations of Bahamians.
It's time for your morning business report brought to you by CFAL. Bahamar has the U.S. recession will affect what could be a record-setting year for the mega resort, with both the leisure and MICE, that's meetings, incentives, conferences, and exhibitions markets, showing a very bright outlook. That's according to Bahamar President Graham Davis. He told Guardian Business that occupancy levels this year could be 20% ahead of where they were last year. Davis says the resort also had a very successful end of 2022 as revenue shot past 2019 numbers. This year, figures should be positive throughout the months. Read more on what he's saying in today's Guardian Business section. Homeowners can expect increased premiums this year as the region loses reinsurers as a result of increased catastrophe payouts from losses that totaled $120 billion last year. That's according to the Bahamas Insurance Association in a press statement saying that reinsurance costs have already increased between 20 and 30% this year. The statement also explained that for some homeowners, finding coverage at all could prove difficult because of all the fall off in reinsurance options. According to the statement, Hurricane Ian, which hit Florida in September, was the second most expensive storm on record, costing between $50 billion and $60 billion. It says that $2 billion in losses were paid out in the Bahamas as a result of Hurricane Dorian. While the government would not confirm whether the Royal Caribbean Group has presented a new proposal for the development at its Royal Beach Club project, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Tourism, Investments and Aviation Chester Cooper has confirmed that discussions continue. The $110 million project proposed for the western portion of the island involved the leasing of Crown land, a portion of which remains under litigation. Guardian Business understands the new proposal submitted to the government from Royal Caribbean Group reimagines the project on a smaller scale of Crown land that does not include the portion of the property which is embroiled in a court battle between the government and Paradise Island Lighthouse and Beach Club. Those plans to transform the land containing the historic lighthouse into a beach club. And BPL, Bahamas Power and Light, is 75% complete with its LED street light upgrade program. That's according to Chief Operations Officer Tony Seymour. BPL has said replacing streetlights throughout New Providence with more energy-efficient LED lights will reduce the spend on street lighting by 30 to 40%. In your Market Watch recapping trading on the BISX from Friday, your market movers Finco moving 1,830 shares, closing up 54 cents to 11.94. Consolidated Water down 3 cents, closing at 2.83. Emira Incorporated down 3 cents, closing at 9.83. The BISX All Share Index closing at 2,624.67, up 6.41. That's your Market Watch, and that is your morning business report brought to you by CFAL, growing wealth for future generations. And tune in tonight for CFAL Talks on the topic, the highs and lows of the fiscal year 2022. That's tonight at 6:30 p.m. right here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We're back here with Morning Blend Business on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan with Pamela Musgrove. Let's get through some of your text messages. We've been talking about a number of things this morning, including secondhand smoke and whether it's time to ban substances. And as we continue with Health Week here on Morning Blend and Morning Blend Business. And earlier, of course, the big story, the PMH probe after mother's death. We've been getting a whole lot of messages on that. So let's see if we can get through them very quickly. This texter says, so what's the next step if we can't rely on our nation's populace to supply blood for those in need? Can we purchase blood and blood products? Does this need to be a line item in the budget? How does crime factor into depleting our blood banks? It definitely does. Dr. Dwayne Sands has talked about it quite a lot in the past. All the trauma from shootings, stabbings, car accidents plays a role as well. It certainly does. Certainly does.
So in more than one ways, reducing crime is beneficial.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. This person says here, please stop saying lack of training. This goes back to what we were talking about earlier. It's lack of care. Our medical professionals are trained at the highest levels. It's just that some of them simply don't care.
But training involves care, too. Part of the triple.
Bedside manner,
yeah.
Right? Yeah. This person says here, everybody's survival depends on if they have money because equipment and resources to survive is expensive. Remember what Dr. Perry Gomez said as the Minister of Health in the House of Assembly. He said something like, if you are poor and have to go to a PMH, you will die. He was a minister 8 years ago. I think he was trying to say we didn't want that to be the case. But has anything changed? That's the question.
But then you have doctors who have private practice also operating at PMH. So why is the standard different?
This person says, see if any former Minister of Health will speak to you all and be honest about areas they failed the nation in. Watch policymakers remain unaccountable at the end of the day while they don't defend the workers operating with less than all that they need. This one says, people are afraid to go to PMH. They would rather die. Well, oh boy. Okay, some of these messages we can't read. This person says, my cousin broke his arm and we called and said, we think his arm is broken. We need to come by. We were told to come tomorrow afternoon.
They should have just showed up.
They've still been there by tomorrow afternoon, though.
But at least you're in the hospital.
Oh, okay. Hey, okay, we really can't get to all of these. There's a lot this morning. Thank you for sending them, but we get hundreds, and especially on hot topics like this. But Pamela Musgrove, thank you so much for being here this morning.
And have a blessed week, Bahamas.
And let's make sure that 1/23/23 or 23/1/23 is a lucky day for everybody, a good day for everybody. Hope we have a good one. Stay tuned for On the Clock with Aaron Green coming up next.
Wake up, it's a new day.